Most men think intimacy begins in the bedroom. But let me ask you something. What if the real magic starts long before you even get there? What if the most unforgettable spark doesn't come from performing, but from being present, intentional, and fully connected? If you're a man over 50, you're entering a new chapter of life, one rich with opportunity to deepen emotional bonds, not just physical ones. And in this stage, intimacy evolves. It's no longer about speed or ego. It's about subtlety, safety, and touching her in ways that don't just arouse. They awaken her trust, her heart, her memories. In this video, I'm going to share with you scientifically supported and emotionally powerful ways to create connection through touch. And I'll show you the specific places most men overlook that, when kissed with care, can completely transform the way she feels about you, and more importantly, about herself when she's with you. So if you're ready to learn how to build deeper intimacy that outlasts the moment, stay with me until the very end. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just about passion. It's about trust, emotion, and learning to love with wisdom, maturity, and presence. Let's begin. See, intimacy at this stage of life is not about performance, urgency, or proving your worth. It's about emotional alchemy. It's about cultivating stillness, subtle touch, and meaningful connection. And today I want to show you how understanding a few often overlooked areas of a woman's body, backed by neuroscience and emotional psychology, can completely transform the way she experiences your presence. This isn't about tricks. It's about trust. It's not about taking. It's about cherishing. Stage 1. The neuro-emotional touch points. Let's begin with the nape of her neck, specifically the soft space just below her hairline, above the collarbone. Gentlemen, this region carries a profound emotional significance. Why? Because it's neurologically rich and psychologically vulnerable. The nape is packed with cutaneous mechanoreceptors, closely connected to the limbic brain, the part responsible for emotion, memory, and bonding. When touched slowly and intentionally, it sends calming signals through the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting trust and emotional openness. But there's a key here. How you kiss her in this area matters deeply. I often say, don't kiss to possess, kiss to reassure. Too many men rush this moment, asserting dominance rather than devotion. Imagine pausing, brushing her hair back with reverence, and resting your lips softly on this tender space. Not to arouse, but to affirm. That simple act communicates something profound. You are safe. I'm with you, not for what I can take, but for who you are. And when security is felt at the nervous system level, desire can blossom organically, without pressure, without force. Stage 2. The whisper zone. Now let's move to a spot that's both physically discreet and emotionally powerful, the area just behind her ear. Scientifically speaking, this region is intimately linked with the temporal lobe and olfactory memory, both of which are involved in processing scent and emotional recall. More importantly, soft touch here can trigger the release of oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone that fosters trust, attachment, and emotional warmth. Again, it's not about being aggressive. It's about being present. Whisper something meaningful here, and kiss gently just behind her ear without a word. The silence between words often carries more emotional weight than the words themselves. And for men over 50, this is where your evolution as a partner becomes your greatest asset. You don't need to win her with flash. You win her with depth, restraint, and attentiveness. The kind of touch that says, I choose you, not just your body, but your essence. Stage 3. A place of reverence, not lust. Another powerful yet often overlooked area is the inner wrist. Delicate, incredibly sensitive, and remarkably potent. Why? The skin here is extremely thin, housing a dense concentration of nerve endings and lying directly over the radial artery, which gives rhythmic access to her pulse, her life force, if you will. Psychological studies have shown that gentle touch on the wrist activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the region of the brain linked to empathy, emotional recognition, and human bonding. When you pause your conversation, take her hand, and slowly kiss the inner wrist, it's not a seduction. It's a sacred communication. It says, "I'm here, I see you, and I value even the quietest parts of your being." And that is something many women seldom feel acknowledged for. Stage 4, the power of trusted vulnerability. Now let's gently explore some more vulnerable areas, spaces that hold immense emotional and physical power, but require deep mutual trust and presence to access authentically. The first is the hollow of the collarbone. Situated close to the heart, both literally and symbolically, this spot carries profound emotional charge. A tender kiss there, slow and present, signals not just admiration of her physical beauty, but honor for her deeper self. You're not just noticing a body, you're acknowledging a spirit. Next is the inner elbow. Yes, a surprisingly sensitive and rarely touched zone. Neurologically, this region contains densely packed afferent nerves, responsible for sending signals of warmth and sensation to the brain. A kiss here catches her attention precisely because it's so unexpected, soft, sincere, and completely non-performative. It shifts her from anticipation into emotional presence. And finally, if the emotional foundation is solid, meaning she feels deeply seen, safe, and supported, you can explore even more tender areas like the abdomen or hip bones. These places are often guarded, especially in a world that unfairly judges women by unrealistic beauty standards. But when kissed with patience and acceptance, not to seduce, but to affirm, those kisses become acts of emotional healing. When you say without words, "I love every part of you, even the parts you hide from the world," you give something younger men rarely can: emotional sanctuary. Stage 5, the unspoken embrace. Now allow me to share one powerful gesture that requires no kiss at all, yet holds just as much emotional impact: the gentle placement of your hand on the lower back. This area of the body stores tension, literally. Through the thoracolumbar fascia, stress and emotional weight are carried here. When you rest your hand there, not to guide, not to claim, but simply to be present, you send a physical message that echoes in her nervous system: lean on me. You're not alone. Neuroscience backs this. That kind of grounded, present touch can activate the dorsal vagal complex, calming the body, softening the guard, and opening the heart. If you've ever slow danced and felt a woman lean into you just from that one touch, then you've seen a glimpse of what quiet trust feels like in action. That is not choreography. That is emotional surrender. So here's the deeper truth. Intimacy, especially for those of us over 50, is not a game of speed or prowess. It's about learning where to linger, how to listen with your hands, and how to love with your presence. The most powerful connections are formed not in moments of passion, but in spaces of safety, slowness, and sincere reverence. The nape of her neck, the space behind her ear, her delicate wrist, her collarbone, the inner elbow, her stomach, her hips. These aren't just places on a body. They're gateways into a soul. When you explore them with intention, with curiosity, and with care, you don't just spark desire. You build legacy-level intimacy. If this message spoke to you and you're ready to go even deeper, stay tuned. Be the man who doesn't just reach for her body, but reaches her soul. I appreciate you spending this time with me, and I invite you to subscribe, like, and share this video if it helped shift your perspective. There's more coming soon, and it only gets better from here.